Do you predict if the House does resume, if the Democrats do take control of the House again in this coming election, do you predict that Minority Leader Pelosi will be able to get reelected as Speaker of the House? And to follow up on that question, what are your ambitions? Would you like to be the Majority Leader? Would you like to resume your old position as the Majority Whip? But first and foremost, do you think that Minority Leader Pelosi will be able to become Speaker again?
Yes, I do. I think she's acquitted herself amiably in the position she is currently in. I think she is articulating the vision for the country that the president is laying out in a way that's helpful to the president. And I do believe she will be Speaker next January. By the same token, I don't know what the future holds for me. I am very pleased to be in the leadership of the party. I try to do what I can to make sure that this party continues to focus on the family, if you please, and to do what is necessary for people's kitchen table issues to stay in the forefront. And whatever the future holds, I hope to be prepared to receive it.
Mr. Clyburn, President Obama, as you know, this year, as he's been ramping up for his re-election race, has been positioning himself as something of a populist and trying to appeal to middle-class voters who are going to be a key constituency this fall. And yet, when National Democrats made their announcement about the National Convention this week, they noted that the president's going to be delivering his convention speech at the Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. So I'm wondering, do you think that, is the president stepping on his message there a little bit by holding the speech in a venue that is named for one of the banks that he has been railing against on the campaign trail, along with other Democrats?
Well, I don't think so. I suspect that you got to have a place that can hold all the people we expect to be there. I don't think he is walking away from his message, or the party is. I think we're going to open up on Sunday at the Motor Speedway in Charlotte. At least that's my understanding. It won't be an integral part of the convention, but it's going to be a big family day. It's going to be a big kickoff for our events on Labor Day. I think all of this, once again, these are symbolic things that bear a little relationship to what is substantive. I think it's what the president says while he's in that stadium and what he lays out for the American people looking in on our activities. That's what's going to be important, not where we are. Remember, I always like to say, according to my Christian faith, you don't just talk it, you have to walk it. And I think that is what is going to be taking place in Charlotte, a vision for the future that most Americans can identify with, and I think most Americans will respond very favorable to come November.
One other part of Felicia Sonmez's question, because the Democratic National Committee, in announcing the convention in Charlotte, saying that they will use this as a mobilizing tool for voters in the South, most notably in the Carolinas and in Virginia. So as a native of South Carolina, can the president win South Carolina in November?
Yes, he can. Now, the question is, will he? I don't know if he's will or not, but I think he can. A lot of that depends upon us in South Carolina doing what we can to organize our voters and to get people to understand that the president is president and not king, that he's been president for only 3 years. And we know from the independent studies that what is happening in this country today was a 30-year journey. Over 30 years, the General Accounting Office has done the study and said we got to where we are because of policies put in place 30 years ago that all converged at the time to put us in this shape. And we got to get people to understand President Obama is not a magician, is not king, and we should not expect him to do in 3 years what we took 3 decades to do. So undo what we took 3 decades to do. So I believe that it's possible for him to win South Carolina. It will be an uphill battle. But if all Democrats, all independents, people of goodwill were to coalesce around a good futuristic vision for the country, yes, we can.
Final question from Susan Ferriccio of the Washington Examiner.
The Democrats were able to recapture the majority from the Republicans 4 or 5 years ago. You managed to stay in the majority for just two Congresses. Can you talk about why you think you were only able to stay in the majority for 4 years? Was it bad policy, bad politics, or bad luck?
Well, I don't think any of our policies were bad. I think that policies are as good as the environment within which you lay them out. They're also as good as the message that you lay out to further those policies. I believe that we, in 2010, failed to message effectively. As I said, in 2010, our biggest anti-vote came from seniors because they thought, they were told, that we had done something to Medicare that we had not done. And we've gone through these numbers, and we've checked the congressional districts. And you go congressional district by congressional district, the difference in our winning and losing was the senior vote in those instances. And the reason we lost it is because we failed to explain to senior citizens what we had done to Medicare when we put the Affordable Care Act in place. And again, the Affordable Care Act is something that most Americans think should be done, and you have all these other guys railing against the program, saying they will repeal it, and they were going to go back to insurance companies telling you what level of care you should have. They want to go back to children born with diabetes not being able to go on their parents' insurance policies. They want to go back to children not being able to stay on their parents' policies once they go to college. These kinds of things are necessary to stabilize families. They are necessary to prepare people for the future. And those are the things we ought never go back to. And people need to keep that in mind as we go to the polls this coming November.
Congressman James Clyburn is the Assistant Democratic Leader in the House of Representatives. He is joining us from his hometown of Columbia, South Carolina. Thanks very much for being with us on C-SPAN's Newsmakers program.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
And Felicia Simons, let me pick up on